Theory of Conspiracy Livestream. What you are about to listen to is raw and unedited. To view the Livestream or subscribe for updates, you can follow the lads using the link in the description.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're now live. Hello there, Andy.
All right, Carlos. Hopefully we're... sorry, mate. Hopefully we're not going to have any technical glitches. Touch wood. Don't speak too soon.
No, that's it, because obviously just the people listening or watching us just say, yeah, we've been on for about an hour just trying and testing and muting and unmuted and rebooted and debooted.
Yeah, I'm having trouble trying to mute the mic. So, cool. 2 seconds. Sorry, I wasn't fully prepared. I thought I was.
Oh, sorry, mate. Just obviously we went 3 minutes over. People are just waiting for 9 o'clock. That's it.
I know. Hello. We've got someone on the live stream anyway. We've got one watcher.
Oh, so, good.
Northern Ireland. Hello, Mr. Paris. Right, so intros then. So this is the live stream for Thursday, the 23rd of July, 2020. For those people seeing this for the first time, I'm Andy and this is Carlos. Together with another friend, we host a fortnightly audio podcast. And this is our spin-off live stream where we can reflect on past episodes, interact with the audience. So any questions people want to fire at us in Twitter, we will try and keep our best to keep an eye on it. Sorry, I said Twitter, I meant Twitch. We'll try and keep an eye on it. And also, we're going to discuss like more recent things that are in the news. These chats will also be available on our YouTube channel for as long as it's not banned. And also the unedited and raw audio will go out to supplement the original podcast. So, Carlos, what's new for you, mate?
Yeah, just over the last week or so, I've been having my notifications have been going crazy at the moment, because obviously I've had a few people. I'm not told me to tell them what the names were, but I've got a few friends anyway have been sending me information regarding what's hot and what's not. I think the one what's spiking on the internet at the moment is that Wayfair. That's the. I think I started bombarding you with information, you and Nick, and you started going, what are you on about here, Carlos? And then I started talking more about it, and then a few friends started hitting me with WhatsApp and links and video clips. So that's what's been new over the last week or so and stuff like that. But so much more. I've been doing lots of reading, obviously researching for the podcast and stuff like that. But what about yourself? What have you been up to?
Well, we'll come back to Wayfair in a bit then. I've been off this week. Managed to get tickets for Chester Zoo last month. So we went Chester Zoo this week because I knew it was going to be off. That was a bit strange with it. It's supposed to have like 30% capacity or something like that, but I thought it was quite busy, to be honest. But lots of social distancing measures in place and stuff, and not everything was open, but it was good to go. We were talking about going before lockdown happened anyway, so, and then obviously that kicked in. And then obviously I'm a bit red because I've been caught despite wearing sunblock, been caught by the sun a couple of times. You might laugh at that when you want to look out the window and it seems like it's rained all week, but actually, I've been camping for a couple of nights and just got absolutely baked. I think Chester Zoo and then camping the first day. Yeah, it was really, really sunny where we were.
It looks quite interesting. You've got your red as a beetroot with the Terminator overseeing you there as well.
Oh yeah, he's got red eyes.
I've got my records and my books in the background. I look intelligent.
Cool. Okay, then let's take this serious Wayfair one, and we'll put some of the. We got a couple of little funny little things to chat about in a bit. This live stream's probably going to last about an hour. But we'll see how it goes. We'll see if we run out of things to talk about.
Me run out of things to say? Never.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Okay, Wayfair then. Do you really think there's anything in this Wayfair?
Do you know what? Obviously,
if anyone's not heard of it, first of all, Carlos, what is it? What's this Wayfair thing?
Wayfair is obviously it's a company where you can buy furniture, and a lot of these furnitures that seem to be overpriced. Something like £10,000, so $10,000 for a pillow, $17,000 for a cupboard, and these have boys and girls' names assigned to it. And that's the bit where people have been putting two and two together. Oh, say for example, a name is, say, call it Jordan. This item's called Jordan. It's worth $17,000, and then people have started piecing. There's a Jordan missing in Massachusetts or New Hampshire or Miami, and they're starting to piece it together because people are saying things like, Why would certain celebrities have got their brand on there, but $10,000 for a pillow?" And then there was a famous TV presenter in America. It'll come to me. Her name will come to me. Where I think she's called Ellen. I can't remember her surname. She had one of her items for $10,000. After all this negative press, that pillow went down to $99. So it's practically giving it away.
Right.
So if your item's worth $10,000, it's worth $10,000. But I think is it true? I do not know. But people do use certain applications, certain games to communicate. Because obviously, it's people know that if you're talking through WhatsApp or if you're talking through certain applications or SMS messages, people can hack it. Where if you're talking through someone which is actually there and then in front of you, it doesn't look so obvious. It's like that's when people used to do drug deals, they used to say certain keywords or something, and people just, oh, that's just everyday chat. Use certain slangs, and that's what I think this is what they're trying to do on here. But I'm not saying it because the thing is, a lot of people were sending me information. I thought, this is garbage, and then more information. I think Twitter got a hold of it and started. And I think with the what's happening now with the Jeffrey Epstein cases, I think this has just added more spice to it. And that's pretty much that's the sort of the nuts and bolts of it.
Okay, so when you first pinged that to me, obviously I Googled it. First of all, I thought, is it American dollars? Is it Australian dollars? Is it some other dollars where actually once you do the maths, it works out that $10,000 is only like 300 quid. So the stuff I've seen on Wayfair is pretty expensive anyway. But yeah, when you look at a white cabinet and
A pillow. A pillow.
yeah, well, I didn't see them, but when you look at a white cabinet for $13,000, with barely any sort of description, I mean, you look at the cabinet, you go, who would want to buy that cabinet anyway? I then thought, is someone just photoshopped some stuff and it's just some sort of elaborate hoax? But I did a bit more searching on the internet, and the official story that Wayfair have put out is that these are genuine cabinets, but they're industrial grade cabinets, hence the expense. However, their descriptions didn't justify the amount that they were worth, and they've took them down. To top it, I know what you're saying about people use different things to communicate, and I think the elephant in the room is paedophiles and smuggling rings and things like that. I recall there was some sort of penguin game that they were all logging onto, and it was like a kids' chat room. They were all like virtualized penguins, and they were using that to communicate because it wasn't being tracked because it was just some kids app. At one point, I can't remember the name of it. You Google it, you'll probably find that out. But I don't think Wayfair is the right sort of site for that. And a couple of things I put to you and Nick were there's got to be easier ways to disguise a transaction of you supposedly buying a human for $13,000 that gets shipped to you in a cabinet. Okay, they might have a shipping route set up, and the cabinet might be big enough to support putting a human inside it. Great, but you could say, actually, it'd be a lot easier if we had a smaller item. For example, I think the joking one I sent to you was a load of cigars.
Yeah.
So a load of cigars, call them Carlos's cigars, and they're all $100 each, or however many that factor need. And then there's this magic hidden number that actually, if someone orders 1,199 of these exactly, then that is code for us to send them Carlos in a big cardboard box or box crate, whatever, labeled cigars on it. It's still going to be big enough to transport a human. it's something like that rather than one single item which stands out.
The one thing I've always know, and this is you can go through history books, where if you want to catch someone, follow the money. Like they caught Lance Armstrong not by his drug taking, but his payments to the doctor. They caught Al Capone not by all the deaths he committed or authorized or made or got his people to do, but by his non-payment of tax. So, these, if there is something going on, which is like the underworld or the criminal world, they'll find different applications and different places where it doesn't look so. Like for example, if someone's using Bitcoin or the dark web or using pseudonym names or companies, it looks a bit obvious. But if you're just buying a cupboard online, nobody would bat an eyelid. That's why
Unless
certain
it's
people.
worth 13,000.
Yeah, but the thing is, but I know people have bought daft things. I remember once I obviously, but people still think, okay, I remember Elton John used to spend £250,000 a month just on flowers. That would look suspicious. £250,000 a month just on flowers.
If it was Elton
The
John, I guess I know what was in them flowers.
well, I don't
I've watched his documentary. Have you not watched that?
no.
Elton John. Okay, come out last year? But yeah, a lot of drugs went on.
Oh, right, okay. You probably had drugs in the flowers.
Yeah.
Well, it was like the famous cardinal from Germany, Cardinal Bling, they called him. He paid something like it's either 25,000 or $50,000 on a toilet seat. That's like so people do spend stupidity on when they've got that kind of money. But I looked into it, and it was just it just looked a bit suspicious when all these names started filtering through because do people do find different ways of selling, importing and exporting. But what they do, they want to find. You don't want to be sort of like one way. You want to spread like all these major business owners. They don't invest into one company. They spread their wealth, don't they? They spread it. That's what they've got all these different assets. I think this will go on rumbling. I think the is it how do you pronounce her first name? Is it Ghislaine Maxwell? I think that's how you put it. Ghislaine Maxwell. I think that's how you pronounce it. Um, I think when she starts singing like a canary, she'll probably say, this is the way we used to traffic people." Because obviously that woman is looking at life in prison, but we know that in the American justice system, sometimes if you sing like a canary, they reduce the sentence, don't they? So
Yeah, they do
it's either
deals
looking
and
at
stuff.
if you're looking at like say life in prison, uh, I don't know what life in England life is 25 years. I don't know what life means in America. It might be the same. Life actually might mean life. But then they may say, okay, we'll shorten your sentence, and she's going to sing like a canary.
Normally, don't they do that to get to make a bigger bust, don't they? Who's going to be, because obviously Epstein's topped himself, or allegedly. So he's gone anyway. So they're after, who's she gonna
Well,
dob in to get herself out of trouble if
well,
she's an
there's,
implicator in?
there's a few people because obviously there's lots of famous people like Stephen Hawkins used to visit quite regularly. Bill Gates has visited there. Oprah Winfrey's visited. The big one is Bill
Prince
Clinton.
Andrew.
Prince Andrew, yeah, sorry, Prince Andrew, forgot
Yeah.
about him. Bill Clinton's a big one. I think he's visited 26 or 27 times. So he's clearly a big player. So they used to have all the top mathematicians and scientists and heads of state and monarchs come to the Fuck Island, I think they called it, and things used to go on there. People, if you, 4 or 5 years ago, if I'd have said to you, there's a place where all the rich, famous, powerful people go to this island and fuck, basically, and it's like, and you go, yeah, that's made up somehow James Bond, but no, we found out it's true. But people have said this Jeffrey Epstein could have been some kind of what they call is a construct, where he's actually been put into place to like some kind of honeypot extract information from people. So if you're head of a CEO of a FTSE 100 company or a big major corporate giant, and I see you doing things which obviously the public wouldn't like to see, I've got some on you, and obviously if you've got something like I need you to sort of like put the prices down on certain construct or oil or car manufacturing, you're going to do that because I'm going to release that tape. Because obviously there's some people who've actually looked into it, and that's the thing where we need to look into. And I think this Ghislaine Maxwell will obviously dive massively into it.
Uh-huh. Just sounds a bit like a big spy film to me, but you never know.
No, I think it's going to carry on massively, and I think the key to this is make sure she doesn't get killed. That's the key. The wardens don't fall asleep or the cameras don't stop working. That can't happen a second time. I think she needs 24-hour protection, basically.
From herself.
From herself, yeah. But no, it's just no, it's quite interesting. But that seems to be the hottest topic at the moment. That one, the Wayfair, because obviously it was 3 or 4 days ago. It just kept literally building and building to the point where even people says, okay, there's something in this. Even a lot of mainstream media picking up on it as well. They say clearly Twitter, you get something trending and people start adding spice to it.
I think it's just a bit of a coincidence, especially with the names on the products. I mean, I reckon half the IKEA stuff in IKEA is named after female names or even male names. I reckon you could go through the newspaper in Switzerland or whatever and the Netherlands and dig out some names that match IKEA furniture and say, oh look, there's a bed named Peter or whatever. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, because if you think about it, the amount of millions of items they've got in a warehouse, they're going to run out of words, aren't they? So
I think Wayfair, it's not all Wayfair. I think other people can sell products through Wayfair as well. So it's a bit of a, like me or you
like
could sell some. Yeah, we could sell something on Amazon. Yeah. That's why they're so big. So they do have their own stuff, but yeah, I think they do that as well. So, and that's the reason why these descriptions are so poor, because it's amateurs.
I've heard of Wayfair, but I didn't think much of them. But obviously they've got more. They've had more negative press, and
it's weird because I'm getting loads of emails off them at the moment because I looked at.
Got to buy David for £4,000.
Yeah, well, no. We were looking at. I think we were looking at sofas and lampshades or something, and I think I went on Wayfair. Oh no, it wasn't. It wasn't that. It was before that. I was looking at a cabinet for the side of the room because we just wanted to put some junk somewhere. So we thought, let's buy some more a cabinet with some drawers. But no humans came in it. But I can't remember it was named after.
You need to get a refund.
Well, it also wasn't 10 grand. It was it was like 70 quid or something like that.
Oh, you're not in the elite club yet. You're not in the elite club. Once you get in the elite club, that's when you start getting. But I think like I said, I think at the moment it's quieting down, but my phone's still busy with people sending me email. A lot of it's rehashed, a lot of information rehashed, but I think something will come about of it.
Cool. All right. I wanted to pull apart some other social media stuff, so I'm gonna go for say the time traveling celebrities or doppelgangers. So you put on our TikTok channel. I think you've also shared it on Twitter and
I did.
Instagram.
I shared it on all our social media platforms.
So basically, the concept is you've got a recent photo of a celebrity like Johnny Depp, and then there's like a black and white photo of
From the
someone
1800s,
that looks like Johnny Depp. So where have you got this idea from, and how did you find these old lookalike photos?
So time travel's been. I've always been fascinated. I think most people are fascinated by sci-fi or military books or that kind of stuff. And time travel has always been a fascination of mine. Or people, even from a little kid, people talk about reincarnation, and obviously people talk about the paradox, the granddad paradox. And I was just looking at some pictures, and then someone sent me pictures. As oh, that looks like John Wayne, and John Wayne. Obviously, I know John Wayne's from the 50s or 60s, and then someone said John Wayne from the 1700s. It literally it's like obviously this was like old painting, but it's like mirror image. I thought, okay, I'm gonna look into this. I'm gonna look at other celebrities, and then you start picking up like Putin and even Eminem. And I started looking at it. I thought, And obviously, maybe the human makeup has only so many options. You know what I mean? Because obviously, like a mobile phone, there's only so many shapes you can do with a mobile phone. It's like there's only so many shapes you can do with a car. Like if you, I know if human being, you can go skinny, you can go fat, you can go tall, or you can obviously be a small person. But there's only so much shapes you can be on your head, and what kind of cheek structure or bone structure and that kind of thing. So that's the idea of coming. And I started looking at for all these pictures that came up with like time traveling. And I just found it fascinating. And I just put all these pictures together. I think it was about 23, 24 pictures I put together. And I shared it on social media, and it just went boof, boof. It just started flying off the my notifications. Waking up, I went and woke up to like 600 notifications. So I thought, Andy, have you been sending messages again? But that's the idea. But it's amazing how I put it up there just something I was thinking. It was about 10 o'clock at night. I just thought, I was bored. It was on my own. I had a few ideas. It was a couple of hours to put it together. But it's amazing how you put something out there and people start thinking about it. Say, because a lot of people are saying it's all reincarnation. So a lot of people say this is evidence of cloning. Other people are saying this is definitely time travel. But it's weird that nobody really destroyed it. I thought, oh, this is bollocks, Carlos. What the hell doing this?
One guy commented and went, half of these people have been in time travel movies. And I commented, I went, yeah, the other half have been in them as well. They've just not been released yet. And he just wrote back, yeah, that's true.
But it's one of them subjects where it's like I hit a nerve and it got people thinking because we've talked about this before on previous podcasts where people said things like the three major questions are what's the meaning of life, are we alone, and what happens to us when we die. They're usually the three questions most human beings ask, and that would drop into the category of reincarnation. A lot of people think when we die, we obviously we have to repent and come back onto earth and try and become a better person. But some people are thinking that we're being cloned, like the Terminator behind your back. And the only what was the one is the time travel. I hope it's time travel. That's I so hope it's time travel.
I've got a time travel story, man. Back in the early 90s, I think it was, I used to work for an internet company and we had a lot of time just to surf the web.
Okay.
And there was a lot less web back then, first of all.
It would have been dial-up, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it was. This was pre-broadband. In fact, I remember having the meeting saying this guy had gone off. We've just been told about broadband, and he was coming back and telling us about it, and we're like, "Wow, that's a lot better than 56k." Anyway, there was a website called ideadollar.com. I don't think it's still about. Basically, what you could do if you had a business pitch or an idea for a product, you basically typed it up. And submitted it. You created an account, you typed up, submitted it, and literally developers, prospectors, all this, they could browse it, and there were success stories of people. Oh, I put this idea in for, I don't know, a Dyson Hoover, and I put this idea in for a cyclone Hoover, and Mr. Dyson picked it up and he started making Dyson. That wasn't a true story, but it's an example. I submitted an idea. So I said, mine's called time travel investments. The idea is you sign people up and and what they do is free to sign up, and what all the money that you get for signing up, you have to invest 50% of it back into time travel investments. So the idea is you sign up for free, and sometime in the future, you will get a message from somewhere with lottery results. Right? You won't know where they've come from. Just come through your door. You put them numbers on. You win the lottery, and you have to give 50% of that to the time travel investment company. They then take that money and research time travel until they've got enough money to research time travel. Then, with that money, they can build a time machine, and then they have to go back and pay and send lottery codes to all their investors.
So it's like a pyramid.
It's not a pyramid. It was a time loop, and I submitted it, and I got $1 for it. I don't even know. I think it's like a token thing to go. This is a genius idea. We're just gonna give you $1 credit, and you could like redeem it off the site for stuff, but you needed more than $1. But yeah, it never got picked up by any investors or anything. But I thought, yeah, it's like a self.
Well, they're the kind of things that work. They're quirky. They're the kind of business ideas. Because I remember there was a guy who did sort of like a business idea where you paid him $1 and you had to zoom in onto the screen and you could see your logo of the company. So most people have to pay.
Oh, it's called the million pound website or something like that. So it's a website made up of 1,000,000 pixels, and each pixel is $1. So if you want to draw your name, you need to work out how many pixels that is. Obviously, you need a background and then a font. You work it out and you say, right, that to do my name, it's like 200 pixels.
Yeah.
It's probably more than that, right? It's probably 200 wide by 15, 20 deep. So you buy that, and then you color them in whatever color you want. And he says, I'll put it on his website. So literally, he's got 1,000,000 pixels, and he gets $1 for each one. He's made £1,000,000.
Yeah, that was it.
And
He was one of the first
$1 million.
people. Yeah, he was
Yeah.
one of the first people to earn. Obviously, not the first, but I remember reading about it in. I think I just left school then. It was one of the first people to become like the .com craze when people were
Yeah.
just making millions.
Apparently, he sold them all within a couple of months. It was less than a year.
Yeah, because
He sold every.
you're not spending because someone could afford. Oh, I can afford $50. I can afford $100. But usually, when you're promoting on these websites, you're talking tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of pounds. Well, this one is I can
Yeah.
afford $500, that kind of thing. So
Yeah.
it's a very
And
clever way.
a lot of them are company logos. It was on the TV or something literally the other night. A lot of them are company logos. So yeah.
It's usually the simple ideas. It always comes from the most humblest of backgrounds.
Yeah,
Comes
yeah.
out.
It's one of them where you go, oh, I wish I'd thought of that. Because I think he took the money and he started up he started some famous business that I can't remember now. I wish I could remember what it was, but
Well,
he
that's what
started.
most people do. They'll come up with one
Yeah,
idea and they'll learn because in that industry they always share wealth, don't they? They always share ideas, and that's
yeah,
where he'll come up with an idea. That's one of the reasons why going back with to Jeffrey Epstein is he didn't sound like a billionaire because people I've read literature from people who've met him. He didn't sound like a person who's a billionaire. You know, get someone who's successful in life, could be a director of a company, he's got money in the bank, he has a certain persona, certain way of talking. When you talk to a millionaire or multi-millionaire, he'll have, okay, this is how I made my millions, this is the kind of thing I do day by day. When you talk to a billionaire, you're talking to someone who's talking to heads of states, the monarchs. He was literally basically like a cowboy. He said this. That's why a lot of people thought he was some kind of construct. He was put there by some kind of intelligence agency to absorb information from people. Which intelligence service you two or three you can think of straight away. But obviously,
you're
I'm
all,
not going to mention the
you're
names.
always going to get someone that's thought of the right thing at the right time and in the right place at the right time, though, aren't you? You're going to get Joe Blogs with humble background and ends up being, look at Mr.
Maybe the thing
Microsoft and
he had
starting it in his garage.
because it's not like a Tesla, not Tesla, Elon Musk. It's more like he had things where he could get away with literally because he had uh, sex offences prior, and he did bristly got brushed off the side. I mean, just paid fines. So it
Yeah,
just reminds me, it's like some kind of construct. He's got people working for him. I think his influence and power got so much that people say, we need to get rid of this guy. He knows too much. Well,
yeah,
it's an interesting one, and it's one of them things. Well, I think it will go on for the next year or so.
yeah. Cool, man. Dude, so I saw something else on social media. I'm going to try and share this on Twitch. So let me give it a shot. So get your phone out and have a look, Carlos. So you posted this image.
I'm on our Twitch. Will it come onto our feed?
Yeah, it will. The feed's a little bit behind.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Can
The
you see it?
Sphinx.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Sphinx. So you posted that. I can't remember what your post was, but all I could think about it, and I thought, oh, I'll talk to you when we're on Twitch about it. When you look at the Sphinx there, how disproportionate is its head size? It's tiny.
Yeah.
I've never realised it before. I just thought it was really weird. I've got some other photos actually.
Well, do you
So
know what the thing is behind that? the Sphinx, the head. They say originally it was of a lion, but due to
Erosion
damage done
or
to the lion, like
right damage.
they carved it into a different. I think it could be Ramesses, the face.
Yeah.
I'm sure somebody will correct me if I'm wrong. Um, it'll be literally, yeah, Ramesses, I think it is. But it was, and then the key one is a famous writer called Graham Hancock, a British writer. He says now because the erosion on the Sphinx, but that has to be over 10,000 years old. So mainstream archaeology will say the Sphinx is probably 4.5, 5,000 years old. But now for that erosion to occur, you need at least 10,000 years. So that means the Sphinx will officially outdate the Pyramid of Giza. And that's why the
If they've
pyramids of
dated
Giza.
it right.
What, sorry?
If they've dated it right.
I don't think they've dated it right. The thing is what not worries me, upsets me. Is like we're scared to change things, and we're scared to say, do you know what? I do not know. Like when you get some of these people in high positions, sometimes it's refreshing to say, do you know what? I don't know. And you think, okay, but do you know what? We're going to find out.
Yeah.
People say, no, it's 4,000 years old, 5,000 years old, full stop. Okay, don't question it ever again.
With that picture I've thrown up now, that's the normal angle that you
Yeah.
normally get at the Sphinx in it, and it looks totally in proportion there because you can't see its whole body. This is what made me think of it. Just to me, it was surprising. I've never realised how disproportionate it was. Obviously, and these ones that I'm just going to put them now are just cartoon images are grabbed because obviously a lot of the time you see it just drawn in like a cartoon style or something. And again, the way it's drawn in a cartoon style is they draw it more in proportion to actually what it is. They don't show it with a little pea head, as I would
That's
say.
why it's a picture I had on my phone. And I think I did another slideshow on TikTok called Random Photos because you get a notification on your phone saying, Carlos, you've reached 100 gigs. And I thought, 100 gigs? What am I doing with 100 gigs on my phone? So I was just sort of like, started sieving through my phones and pictures. I thought, my God, what have I been taking pictures? What have I been downloading? And it's like, I started piecing it all together. And a lot of these pictures were on my phone. But and I thought, you know what? When you put them together, it just shows how my mind works. My mind's completely,
Yeah,
yeah, it's
yeah.
definitely,
That was a good um yeah, a good set of photos that you did when you did that one as well, man. So yeah, that one there's got a little silhouette of that. It looks like it's a dog's head, doesn't it? Of
yes.
how they reckon it was. Yeah. So I did grab that. I was aware of that, but yeah, I just grabbed that when I saw your one. I just went, oh, that someone looks really weird about it. So yeah, crazy
No,
man.
it's good. I enjoyed it. It's just, it definitely makes me think if I'm looking at it now so you can see my screen, I'm definitely looking at it now. But yeah, I think that's it. A lot of people, because a lot of people says it was destroyed. Obviously, Napoleon destroyed it by shooting it down, but that's got to be like 10. I think Graham Hancock says it could be 10,000 plus years old.
Yeah,
But
man.
that would absolutely predate the pyramids by what 6,000 years or something.
A
Or
lot of
5.
people did stupid things to monuments. Obviously you've heard of Stonehenge.
Yeah,
But there's a henge 20 miles directly north of Stonehenge called Avebury Stone Circles, and in my opinion, a much bigger uh, collection of stones than Stonehenge. However, it doesn't have the lintels across the top; they're all vertical stones.
yeah.
But yeah, literally, this guy turned up uh, with his armies or something, and used them was firing cannonballs at them as target practice for his men and stuff. So was damaging him that way. And I mean, half of Stonehenge went missing because of local people nicking the stone.
So
Uh,
in end, what 5,000 years old is it plus?
yeah, they say it's a similar age to the pyramids.
Pyramids.
I don't know the exact age, but uh, yeah, the story changes with Stonehenge all the time because they keep finding loads of new places. So they recently
They found
found,
another outer ring now, haven't they? Another outer ring on
have they?
Stonehenge. So
I know they found the bit not far away where they worked out where everyone was living, basically while they were building it and constructing it, and that's given them a lot more information. down by the river, and they also found what's called Woodhenge, which isn't far from Stonehenge, and that was like a prototype where they just used wood posts and went, right, this is just to like get the placement right before they went and built because Stonehenge was also wooden before they put the stone in there. But Woodhenge, if anyone wants to Google it, I think it's slightly to the west. Slightly to the east of Stonehenge,
So these
a
people
couple of
had,
fields over.
because these people, we assume people 5,000 years ago in Great Britain were probably dwelling in caves, munching on bananas. But clearly, these people had architecture, they had astronomy, clearly they had mathematical. So these people were creators. You can't say these, because a lot of people just assume that obviously 2,000 years ago when the Romans come over, just practically living in caves, munching on bananas. But no, I think these people were advanced people. It's like people have always said that we're actually not discovering things, but we're rediscovering technology.
Yeah, possibly. There was a lot of I do know even back then there was a lot of uh, sort of liaisons, probably the wrong word, but you know, community with people on the continent. In fact, the Amesbury Archer, I think Amesbury is the nearest town or village to Stonehenge. They found this archer. Um, well, it was a body with a bow or arrowheads or something, so they call him an archer. They call him the Amesbury Archer. There's statues and all sorts of stuff written about him. He was quite well preserved in this grave. I think they were building a building or something, and they found it when they were clearing out for the foundations. And they discovered when they analysed him that he probably was Spanish or something like that. Definitely from the continent, not British. From what was buried with him and stuff like that. So all very, very interesting. And I've I've read and seen far too much to try and repeat any of it because none of it's really sunk in, But yeah, all very interesting stuff when you start going down that. I love all that ancient stuff. You're absolutely right. Stonehenge is probably one of my favourite places in the UK.
I've not visited, so me and you, Nick, will probably have to go there and do a podcast from there. But there's one thing. This is probably myth, or you can knock on its head. But have you ever heard of High Brazil? A place called High Brazil.
Don't
So
think
High
so.
Brazil, they refer to it as the Other Atlantis. It's just off the coast of Ireland. So it's an island where literally such an advanced race of people. They did not associate with Europe because they found Europe to be barbaric. And these people, that's why they're trying to link these people with association with Stonehenge and places in Republic of Ireland. So maybe if people are reading and watching, but if you ever Google High Brazil, that's just off the coast of Ireland, so it's not too far away from where Stonehenge is and that kind of thing. But it'll be interesting to see where if we can align that, because obviously I've read so much literature on that, and
Not
I'm
too
trying to.
far. You know where Stonehenge is, don't you? It's not near Ireland.
No, it's not
Okay.
Ireland, but I'm just trying to gauge it what its
Oh,
position,
all right.
position is. Because 5,000 years ago, you don't associate much with United Kingdom in terms of it contributing anything, but Stonehenge literally changes all that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Ireland's also got quite a lot of quite famous and mysterious sort of like burial mounds, which showed that there was a large community, a very large community, especially to have such a big. I can't remember the names of them, unfortunately, but one of them is this massive built
Yeah, it's like
mound.
a dome.
Yeah, like a
Yeah.
dome, yeah, and people have like tunneled into it and they've seen all, body here, like a crypt sort of thing. So
That's about 5,000 years ago as well, wasn't it?
yeah, it's probably about the same age. So, yeah, definitely
Just there.
people traveling around and stuff and getting around it. Yeah, I think the idea of this English guy sat in the woods or whatever, it's yeah, need to watch more horrible histories, I think. So I'm gutted
Yeah.
that was never on as a kid.
No, we'll have to definitely go. We go to Stonehenge, you, I, and so you, Nick, and I have to go there and
Yeah,
try it out and stuff
and
out.
we won't give the tickets to Nick because he'll leave them. He'll leave them at home. So um yeah, I'm getting through my list here, mate. But TikTok, you're gonna mention TikTok. looks like it might not be
TikTok.
around in the UK very, very much longer.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, people. It's like TikTok. Obviously, I set up TikTok to get our podcast up and running because obviously it's good for plugging stuff. Like the 2-3 videos of posts, it's like 30,000+ views and stuff like that. So clearly, it's a great tool to promote stuff. But there must be something going on, which is happening. India, I think, have now barred TikTok. They've barred it. Um, America clearly will probably follow suit. Obviously, what's happening with China versus America, and I think United Kingdom will usually, or they may sort of like stop it, or places in Europe might stop it. But I find it. I've read somewhere. I don't know if it's true or not, but people who work for Amazon cannot have TikTok on their phone. So I'm just thinking because it's good. TikTok is. I don't know if you know. It's actually a Chinese company.
Yeah, I knew that. So they're worried about the security. I knew. I mean, I knew it was a Chinese app straight away. But and obviously I saw something shared around just before all this talk about TikTok getting shut down. Someone had posted this big article on terms and conditions, and TikTok can look at this on your phone, and it's snooping that on your phone, and all these other things. And I was like, oh, so is every other social media app that you stick on your phone. But and I didn't know whether it was how genuine that was or not.
Well, I know India barred it. They've
Mm.
barred it, India. But now just find it because you might get these trade wars between United States and America. Obviously, I remember Google had a fallout with Huawei, and you'll probably find United Kingdom usually follows suit. But it'd be interesting to see where, because it'll be interesting. You can't have this, you can't have that. You terminate this application, you can't have that social media. Because I know in China they don't have Google, do they? They don't have Facebook.
No, I don't believe they have.
They have
They
a thing
can't use
called
Google.
WeChat. So WeChat is
Oh.
pretty much everything in one place because they China have got this thing called I think it's like China social, like a social point. So if I do, say for example, you broke your leg, and I brought you flowers, and I cleaned your house, empty your bins, you'll give me 10 points, and it's so you sort of like so you can get. I think the scoring system is from 350 to 950. So 950 is probably like credit. It's like Equifax or something like that. You can get so if you're in the top bracket, you get jobs, you get travel, you can get on planes. But if you're at the bottom, like 350, you can't get on planes, you can't get on trains. Your credit check is sort of like declined, and also you struggle to get jobs as well.
Yeah.
So it
It
becomes a thing where it's weird what's happening now. It's like a big brother watching you.
it sounds like that episode on Black Mirror. Yeah, Black Mirror's got an episode like that.
What's
So,
it called?
it's called don't ask me about the episode. What the episode
Oh
is.
yes, I've seen it. Yeah,
I
it's
can't remember
yeah, yeah.
that girl, and she's got a thing on her phone, and it's a bit like how you rate Uber drivers as well, in it. So
Yes.
it's a bit like that. And she's trying to buy a new house, but she needs to be a 4.5, and she's like a 4.2. She just needs that other, and things keep happening to her. And by the end of the episode, she's like a 2, and just like, oh, I give up. And she even gets invited to her mate's wedding. It's yeah. I'm just checking the chat room, man.
Yeah, it's
So
gone crazy.
Saturn Ringmaker says
From Connecticut. Hello there. I think I
I'm
know
not
who it is, but all right, matey. I think I know who it is.
I'm not seeing that. They're only just coming through now. So Saturn Ringmaker says, yeah, I think he's talking about Stonehenge. It's been completely taken down and done up twice, Stonehenge. Some concrete injected into stones in places as well. Yeah, you can't actually get to the stones anymore. It's been years since you've been able to do that. Mr. Paris is going to have to smash his Huawei watch. I was thinking of I've got at least 2 smartwatches that have got that WeChat capability on them. So they're from China. So regardless of me having TikTok on my phone, they're probably getting everything through the, the phone app anyway that you need on your phone to get your notifications.
But just to follow on the call from the chat from China, um, I'll post a link. China now, I think there was a journalist broke it. Now are telling all Christians to take down their crucifixes, images of Christ, and replace it with communist leader. So that's clearly an attack on the Christian world. So I'm sure the Vatican will probably put. I just find it's quite interesting where it's like tat for tat. So you're taking down our social media, we'll take down, which will be. Everybody knows that America is very deeply Christian, United Kingdom's Christian, and mostly Europe is a Christian continent. So I just find it weird that they're forcing people in China now to take down their images of Christ, their crucifixes, and replace it with communist leaders. So that would be technically, would that be classed as a holy war? I don't know. Would that be classed as a holy war?
I'm not sure. I'm not. To me, it's got two things are ringing with me. First one is nativities in the UK and UK
Christmas
flags,
time, yeah.
right? And how much, you're always hearing stories at Christmas time, how some school in some county isn't allowed to put on a nativity because they might offend other non-Christian religions, and then you get people that being told to set UK flags down because again you might offend someone that's not originally from the UK and things. And I think so if they tried to implement that in the UK, the PC brigade would be all over that and would shout them down just as much. As saying that, with them being a minority group, they might do something weird and get behind them and say, yeah, we should do this. We should start putting Chinese things all over the place. But
Christianity is quite big. Obviously, I know there's 1.4, 1.5 billion Chinese people in their country, but I know Christianity is quite, obviously, it's not the main religion, but it's quite big out there.
Yeah.
It's in the millions. So it'd be interesting to see what happens because obviously that'll have a knock-on effect. And if you did it to other religions, that would be an act of war. Christian world, they'll probably just say, well, turn the other cheek kind of thing.
I don't know. It's not as if it's not as if they're pushing another
technically,
another god, are they? Another idol? Is it? They're replacing it with like the heads of state and whatever.
Communism you associate with atheism. Oh yeah, and I'm not saying all communists are atheists, but communism you associate with atheism. So is atheism a form of religion? I know people, if you ask Professor Richard Dawkins or Ricky Gervais or Stephen Fry, they say no, it's just a fact. We don't believe it. There's a God. I believe in science. But clearly, atheism it could be another movement. It could be some form of religion.
Well, it's also likened, I think, to what's going on in certain counties and stuff in the UK at the moment with the aftermath of the Black Lives Matter stuff. So Liverpool, I was listening to something just yesterday. So a lot of streets in Liverpool and Liverpool as a city wouldn't be the city it was if it wasn't for basically not immigration, immigration later on because of the people leaving Liverpool and going to the likes of America, but even earlier than that to grow the city, they were because there was a port there. They were obviously handling slave traders and people. So
the richest city in the world at one point as well. Liverpool was the richest city in the world at one point. Yeah.
Well, for example, do you know that Bold Street is named after a slave trader? I was hearing about. I can't remember what the guy's name is, but Bold Street is one of the most popular streets in Liverpool. All the fancy restaurants and everything. Anyone in Liverpool will tell you that's where the scene is at night or whatever to go. And what Liverpool are doing is they're putting plaques up now on each street to say why this street is named this street.
So like a reason why.
Yeah, a reason why. Whereas is it Glasgow? What they're doing is they're renaming streets. So they're like going, okay, this street was named after a slave trader. What they're doing is just completely renaming it after. In some cases, people that have been wrongly arrested and accused or have died while being imprisoned and stuff. Yeah. So it's quite interesting the different approaches each council are taking. But apparently Liverpool announced this.
They were the city of culture, weren't they, Liverpool?
Yeah. They announced this in February, so it was before this all kicked off, really. But yeah.
So
it sounds similar to that, and that you wouldn't call that a religious. Well, that's definitely not a religious.
No, it's not religious.
But
Orwell said, obviously, after you renamed or you rewrote the books, rewrote history, rewrote your burned down these statues, renamed all the streets, people would try and replace history or rewrite history. Do you think? I think it's. I think probably putting a plaque up and explaining why it's called this, because if you dig dirt on every, unless your name is Jesus Christ, you can you can look at anybody. So if you're the average age is you die 85, 86. I could highlight a particular part of your life where you will not be happy with what you did with that life. Something you did, something you said, or something you didn't do, or something you did say. Because I could focus on that part of your life and you go, my God, Andy's a horrible human being, or
Thanks.
I'm a horrible human being. But everybody has done something which they go, do you know what? I regret what I said. I regret what I did. I've learned from that mistake.
They
And
say
that,
everyone's got skeletons, don't they, in the
oh,
closet?
some more than most. And and do you think in the future where people in 100 years' time will look back and goes, can you believe those people who were protesting were ripping down statues and then they forced people to change it or force people because people says because everybody if you know your history people know that say Cromwell was not a very nice person, but the only reason why you know he's not a nice person because you read about him. Oh, who's that? Oliver Cromwell. Oh, I'm going to read about him. And it's like that's what history tells us. I think my dad used to say to me, knowing your history, understanding the present is the blueprint to your future. Or if you don't know your history, you end up repeating your history. So if we eradicate history, we won't know what happened past. We go, oh, remember last time we did this? Make sure whenever this happens again, let's replace it.
Yeah.
But
Well,
that's been massive on the agenda. People, I'll post a link. If you look at when you click on the link, look at the journalist. Very interesting journalist.
all right. What is this? The link from Saturn Ringmaker
Uh,
you were
no,
talking
no,
about?
no, no, it's not that
All
one.
right.
No,
All right. Okay. No worries. Mr. Paris says,
he said 2.5.
yeah,
So what's 2.5 of 1.6 billion?
1.6 billion times
Yeah.
0.025. That's what it is.
What is it? What's that?
I don't
What's that?
know. Can't do that in my head.
Don't work that out quickly.
It's still a big
So
number. It's still a big
so
number, Carlos.
yeah. So 10% would be. I'm trying to work it out now. Don't work it out on there. So
No, no.
2.5.
Even Mr. Paris says it's a lot. So, yeah, he's right. The history books are always written by the winners. And Saturn Ringmaker, I think I know who Saturn Ringmaker is now as well. Erase history, compromise family bonds, mind wipe the populace, millions of blank slates to be controlled to fight the wars. That's got to be David Icke, that, hasn't it? Can't believe David Icke's in our chat. Anyway,
No, it's just the. I think Winston Churchill famously said that history is written by the victors. I'm sure many people have said it before him, but
Caesar probably said it.
Caesar probably said it, yeah. But no, it's just it's one of them things where I think the thing with China and the rest of the world is it's escalating now because obviously India is a powerful nation. Once all this coronavirus is settled down, I think that's when people start and you see in the economies absolutely obliterated. People always want to blame someone. I think that's where the problem lies. But what will happen? Because a World War III wouldn't work. It would just all die. So there's no winner. So how do you win a war? If all these big nations like America, USA, Russia, United Kingdom got into a fight, there'd be no winner. They'll just wipe each other out. I think it'll just be a drone fight, just drones.
Yeah, sounds like it'd just be another Black Mirror episode, man.
I'm sure someone will write it and stuff like that.
I know. In fact, I was playing a game on the PlayStation called what's it called? The Flight one. But there's a lot of drones in that one. I can't remember what it's called. I'll tell you next time. So I think we're on an hour anyway, mate. So
No,
we've made it
10 o'clock.
through, and I know you've still got life in you, but yeah, we'll call it a night. And thanks for the 5 or 6
Thanks,
people that
Mr.
were on.
Paris and Satin Ringmaker. I like the book you wrote. That's
David,
it.
David Icke.
I've got that.
All right, cool. Yeah, brilliant. So yeah, we'll call it a night, and yeah,
We're doing
we'll
our
see.
podcast, our audio on Wednesday next week.
Yeah, so we're recording next Wednesday. That'll be out the following Sunday. Usually that's the normal turnaround time, and then we'll schedule another one of these in a fortnight. And if we're up again before then, if there's anything pressing that Carlos or myself want to say, we'll throw one up with a bit of notice. So if you want to follow this, anyone that's listening or anyone that's watching this after the fact, if you want to follow it on Twitch, you get a notification when we're about to go live. And if you follow us on any of our other social media, it's also we're gonna post when we're about to go live anyway. So it's TheoConPod up there in the top corner. Also down there for Carlos. It's down there, over on the right as well. Right. It's all over the place. Cool. All right. And
So,
we'll speak to you again next time.
good night, Andy,
See ya.
mate. Good night.